California Career Pathway Trust Grant Partnership. Dr. McGee.
Okay, so the materials, I think the materials that you would want to see that are in our packet, but there are a couple of things that I think you should know about the partnerships. And again, I covered this in my report, but I'll just speak to it so you have a broader idea of what the California Career Pathways Trust grants are. In July of 2014, the California legislature appropriated $250 million for a second round of funding for these pathways grants. And we have been looking for ways to connect. In most cases, these are grants that are kind of shepherded through by coordinating with a community college. There's a business partnership, and then secondary schools are involved as as partners with these other entities. So there was a first round of grants that were already awarded, and then now the second round, and there have just been the requests are in now and are due. So we have actually been, we've been invited in a number of different partnerships, and have been really, really fortunate to be able to look for ways to bring these opportunities to Pali, while other groups are actually taking on more of the responsibility of the grant itself, which we're very relieved because they're very involved, and there's a lot of work goes into writing them and crafting them. But again, when we've been offered the opportunity to participate with other groups, we really do want to offer these opportunities to our students. If we looked at our school goals, if we talk about the things that we've identified, we've emphasized that we really want to offer career opportunities, and that's something that we haven't really been able to do in the past. So through multiple pathways opportunities, we're really exploring and reaching out and excited to be part of these partnerships. One is already in place. We have a course that we're offering right now through Santa Monica College, and that's our media class. So we have one of our teachers who's working with SMC and has been actually credentialed as one of their teachers to be able to teach it here on campus. And so that has an opportunity to expand next year to multiple classes and again a full pathway in the future. We are also now bridging with West LA College, and Mary worked very diligently to get this piece in place. And remind me, Mary, what are the two titles of the courses?
They're teaching professional personal development classes, one to explore career paths, and the other college preparatory classes.
Okay. And again, that earns college credits. It's dual enrollment and Pali credit. So again, great opportunities for students who are able to take those classes. And that's actually offered during the 7th period. The media class is offered during the 5th period, so during the regular school day. Another opportunity, and the information again is in my report, is one with Santa Monica College, and it's an opportunity for an education partnership. And so it gives students the opportunities to explore the field of education, to they can become a special education aide or assistant, learn more about how to become a teacher if they're interested in that field, and again, taking courses that are closely related. As far as who will teach those courses, we know that we have many teachers on campus who have master's degrees in education, who, by working with SMC, would very likely be eligible to teach those classes if they had a desire to do so. So that's, again, a really exciting opportunity for our students to earn college credit, Pali credit, learn about a career, and follow the pathway, and also be exposed to other partnerships and businesses. And then the third, or really I guess maybe even the fourth opportunity, is the one that was already referenced earlier tonight, and that's the partnership with DaVinci. And so DaVinci, if you look at that grant, it's pretty extensive. There are many schools. There are multiple community colleges involved. There are multiple high schools who are involved, and business partners as well. We had opportunities to choose a variety of pathways, and we selected that we would look at graphic design and media communication because those are two pathways that or two courses that we already have here on campus. And we felt like we could develop those pathways with minimal interruption to things that are already here, but it would help us expand, offer the college credit, and develop those pathways. And we're, again, optimistic that in the future we'll be able to look at engineering, computer science, robotics, and some of those other opportunities. But we knew at this stage of the game that would probably be more intrusive to some of the programs, and we might not have facilities to actually be able to meet the requirements for the grant. So exciting opportunities. They've all really just come along in the last few months because, as we said, grants, as people had to suddenly turn in their grants, they needed to find partnerships, and because we were geographically desirable and because there's not a lot of red tape in working with a single school, since we're not attached to the LAUSD system, we were a very desirable partner for all of these programs who are trying to piece these relationships together. So exciting opportunities that we are anxious to pursue and to offer to our students. And we just think we're fortunate to have these opportunities, and we're just working to follow the details of the grant to make sure that we can provide them to our students.
So I had a question. Emily, did you have a question?
Go ahead.
So this is, so basically there's funds from the state of California in the amount of $250 million.
Correct.
And we're trying to get those funds to our school.
We're
trying to get some of
the
those
stipulations are that these are partnership grants. So they're not just going to give the monies to Pally High. We have to be
have a
in
partner.
partnership
Excellent.
with a community college and a business.
Great, okay, perfect. So, and there's many schools out there that could do nothing and get none of these funds.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
probably that will happen to a
Yeah,
number of
I'm
them.
sure they
It's
will.
not $250 million in the state of California probably doesn't go too
It
far.
doesn't, yes, that is true.
Got it, okay, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Emily?
For the DaVinci one, I
Yes.
know that, grants typically have, in-kind or cash contributions.
right.
Wondering what the impact is to Pally, if there's anything that we would be, out of pocket, or in terms of a significant time commitment to provide the required reports and things like that. So what it looks like on our end.
So we're looking to provide most of our contribution in kind, either through time, coordinator time. Because we already offer media classes and we already have communication, some of that is something that we can already say. We already have a teacher on campus who's doing, working with that program, doing that type of work. And so we'll be working with them then to implement the professional development, the relationships with businesses, and kind of like working to alter a bit or develop out what we already offer here. So our plan that we put together that we're proposing is in kind, although we may, as we get into a year into this program, decide that we want to expand and offer an additional, or have an additional teacher if there's a demand for something like that. So there's flexibility within the grant. I think that's probably one of the good things about working with a partner that you already know, and they understand kind of what our limitations are, and I think are very willing to let us come along just for the fact that we're another partner in their program.
And
So there are no explicit out-of-pocket costs?
We have, you can look at the budget and see that they're proposed. We have a teacher who's proposed in this, but there's also a coordinator, but I think that's actually for the whole group. There are multiple schools who are involved in this, so we may end up at some point contributing to partial fees for a coordinator. It's kind of a thing that we'll be negotiating as we go. What does each school actually need, since this is spread over multiple high schools?
but you get a coordinator, but then you get the funds
Correct.
to fund the overall program.
Right.
So you may have to commit a little bit of
We will,
time
and
and some
there'll
monies,
definitely
but
be
you'll get,
commitment from in-kind from our time, coordination, various, that's our contribution that we're committing to at this point.
Emily, did you have another question? I have.
I think that answered it.
Okay, so I'm curious about the relationship with businesses. And I only say that is, I know I toured DaVinci once, and they had an amazing relationship in the South Bay with a lot of the industries there. They had actual professors come and teach courses. It was incredible.
And then they also have those relationships with Gensler.
And then they have internships for the kids.
Right.
Is that what this is
Yes,
about?
that is exactly
Okay.
what this is about.
So, and DaVinci is involved in sharing those business relations, or just to understand it further?
Yes, I mean, so they're additional. I mean, so there are some that are more specifically located in the South Bay. The grant is geared to either helping us be additional partners with those companies that they already work with, or helping us build partnerships with other companies. In our cases, we're looking at media, we're looking at communications, maybe more outreach and connection to other companies that deal more
Like
specifically.
entertainment or
Absolutely.
news or something? Okay, yeah. They've done quite a good, I think the president of Belkin's on their board, actually,
Yes.
or something, so they
was.
just seem to have, or was, they just seem to have incredible connection. So just to put it out in the open, a speaker tonight indicated that Matt Wender was on our board in the past, and this could appear to be a conflict of interest. Can you speak to that? Do you feel comfortable?
I do.
speaking to
So
that?
yes, absolutely. Matt Wonder was on our board. I'm trying to remember what month did Matt resign? June?
June.
Well, it was
Yes,
June.
it was June.
And And so again, this opportunity came to us well after Matt had resigned from the board. I don't even think they even started working on their part of the grant until early, either the very end of the year or the beginning of January. I know I went with them to a Project Lead the Way conference when everybody was, this group of people who were in this consortium came together to start working and trying to write the grant. So that would have been in January of 2015. So well after our board meeting, his relationship with this board.
And if there was a conflict, what would conflict be? I mean, is it partnering with DaVinci? What's the conflict? That's what I'm curious about the statement. Is there?
I don't know what it would be. We're not,
It's a win-win.
It's a school partnership.
It's partnering with another school to get a grant. Okay.
It's
I'm
not-
just
it's not a
trying to
direct
make sure
pro-
that,
it's not a
does Matt
profit
Wonder
to
get
DaVinci.
some kind of kudos, or is there some kind of money that comes to him? Okay.
We're paying him, aren't we?
Okay.
No, we're not.
Leslie's being.
It's a joke.
I know, just
It's a
clear it up.
joke.
No, we're not paying.
Joke.
Let's, for the record,
I
we're not
just-
paying.
Kim, you had. Right. Okay. Great. Okay. So, great. Thank you. Just to clarify. Okay.
I think the allegation the parent made was, I don't even
Yeah, I get that
understand
myself.
what, how it could be misconstrued. She had the grant in front of her, so I'm still puzzled as to how she could come up with that conclusion, but she's left, so I guess she can't even speak to that.
Okay, well, we can write it up in the minutes for her, though. I mean, just so that there's clarity.
I did. It sounds like there's opportunities for Cali's staff to teach some of these classes. Would they, as you see it being rolled out, would they have sort of a priority over SMC teachers if they meet the they have a qualification?
There's a process. We certainly have learned that with our teacher who's working in the media class now. And you have to have the right courses in your background and in your transcript. But if you have those and you're willing to work with them, it takes just it's a little bit of time involved and a little bit of a process. But if teachers are willing to do that, I think that they are very interested in the teachers who are here on campus, who already are built and kind of work with the school schedule, being eligible to teach those classes.
And Kim?
Yeah, it's a preference. I mean, we have to go through the interview process, it's a process. But because of like our bell schedule, it was easier to have one of our faculty to actually teach the course.
Well, I guess I ask because one of the pathways is education, and I know a lot of the staff here has their master's in education. That seemed like a pretty good fit.
And I just had a question about, and maybe this is for Mary, the personal development class and career. That's currently happening?
Yes.
And
It's our
that's
second
through West
semester.
LA?
Yeah, it's a
great.
sequence of 4 classes. And so we started last semester, the kids loved it, many came back, and they're taking more classes. So we're in the second of the sequence this semester, and we actually had to ask some students to choose one or the other. There were too many kids signed up. And so hopefully this can grow. And there are a span of kids, from high-performing kids to kids in special education who are trying to back out their way. And the feedback has been really good.
And just so to clarify, this is not something that's happening right now on our campus. There's college classes being offered, and this is a continuation. This is not some type of surprise nobody knows about, because I've heard you guys talking about this repeatedly. I've heard about it in the executive director, principal report. This is something that we've been doing, and we're adding to.
And again, we made it our school goal.
West LA College.
Yeah,
And the
it's
courses
one of our school
actually
goals.
Are UC and US Cal State approved, so they get A through G credit for the class.
Great. That's excellent.
One of the things that the public speaker said was that there was a tie between this grant or this proposal and partnership and the mission statement of DaVinci and our bell schedule. That's one of the things that she made those connections. Are those connectable?
They aren't for us. I suppose if you go and you look at, I don't know what DaVinci's mission statement is, I'm sorry, I would have to look that up, but I'm sure it's something that's based very much on, I think it is in the grant though, but I think, again, they're very much about project-based learning, and they're very much about career exploration, and I don't know that their mission statement talks about advisories or things like that, although I know that is part of their school culture and how they constructed their school, but I think it would be extrapolating a lot, but again, knowing it's a school that we partnered with and we're interested in, we look at best practices in other places. I mean, I think that, again, I think it's a stretch, but I think we certainly are looking at best practices for other places and hoping to bring some of that to Pally.
Yes.
The whole pathway, I think everybody's trying to get a piece of this
Sure.
action. It's
I want us to
money
get
and resources, and it came about because we have so many kids who've been graduating college in debt, and so
Or not graduating college.
or not graduating college, and the Department of Labor is really worried about our economy, and so that's what fueled the motivation to create this money. And I think it's federal money that has spilled into the state, and so those partnerships are to prepare our kids better, so that K through 14 schools are working with private industry, and so the requirement is there's a nonprofit, there's a K through 14 school, and there's some kind of a business link. That's where those pathways grants are really designed to increase employability and help students realize, have a sense of a career that they're going to go into. Because I think we focus so much on A through G that the kids are just focused on going to college, but they don't have a sense of what they want to do. And so these pathways grants are to help us work together, so when we're producing employable adults. And so that's really the motivation behind it. It's not like smoke and mirrors or anything. It's very clear cut, really.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, two things too is
Monica?
the Common Core is, there is a focus on pathways to both college and career. It's very difficult for a classroom teacher to cover all that ground. So any sort of, programs that we can bring puts less pressure on our teachers to have to provide career pathways for the 40 students they have per period. The other thing is the current research out there is that students, especially Latino students, African American students, do drop out of the community colleges at a higher rate. They are not able to finish. Although they may get in, they're not finishing. So the more we can give our students a leg up on college credits, the more chance they have to be able to finish at least an AA degree, because many of them are dropping out at the community college level.
Well, I just have to say I'm so pleased because I really think it's time for us to look at not only not only graduating our students, but what happens to them after they graduate and success to their life. And it sounds like this will increase that possibility. I know of 3 families right now whose students are graduating early from college because they took some college classes while they were in high school, and they're thrilled on an economic level.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand what you're saying. That makes sense.
And this is what to change the scope of high school too, to be thinking, so that we're not just teaching all the academics, but tying it into our communities.
The other thing I want to add, just for the record, is that we're going to need educators.
Yes.
That is a great concern of me as a public educator, that we actually have some sustainability in students that are interested in being educators for their future. There's the writing on the wall that's saying that, we don't want to be, public teachers don't want to be a dying breed. So.
Jeannie?
I did kind of read through this again and saw the word advisory, and it looks like it's in the context of almost like counseling, helping kids choose courses and what pathways they might want to go. It's not advisory necessarily as advisory.
Right.
Just, it's a really general term.
Are there any other questions? Greg?
I just think that this pathway will really bring more clearness to their thoughts of what they want to do before they leave Cali, right? So it'll really make a clear sense of what they really want to go and do.
When you pick a major, you'll actually have some experience.
Exactly, right. And it's college credit.
It's college credits.
And it dovetails our goal
Right.
of career, which is one of the school-wide goals.
Yeah, because like our goal 4 is PCHS will increase 21st century career awareness and opportunities for students. So it's definitely geared to meeting that goal.
Right.
That's excellent.
Well,
Ben?
sorry.
I hope you didn't break your phone.
Quick comment. I know the Family and Community LTSB committee has been talking about like having a career fair and stuff. Are they like utilizing this corporation, this grant at all?
Well, that's interesting. So we won't know if so this is just a proposal at this point. So we're waiting. I think DaVinci will know maybe May or June whether or not, how this is going to be funded and how the rollout will actually work. So for this year, we probably wouldn't be able to necessarily access those companies. Although, maybe I think you might have a good idea. Maybe even though because we're all part of the proposal, we could still approach them about the possibility of working together for a career fair that we're trying to launch. There were some really great ideas discussed today in long-term strategic planning for a career fair, and that also involves bringing in business partners to talk to students about interviewing, letter writing, and internships, of course. So we'll see how we can involve them. That's a great idea, Ben.
Jeannie?
In the board materials, on page 27, in the ones that have 75 pages, it says 2 cohort schools, and then it has 1,000 certificated salaries, and then it has year 1, year 2. And year 1 has a figure of 16,250, and then year 2, 65,000, then a description. And then it has classified salaries, 22, and so forth. Are those personnel, do we pay those salaries, or does the grant pay those salaries?
So the grant pays the salaries, although, again, like we're trying to figure out, like, what's our contribution, what is our in-kind contribution? We're trying to do that through our own coordinating hours, personnel hours, other than, like, because there's always an expectation that we will contribute in some way. So we're writing this, and it's not a cash outlay, but rather, we already are here with personnel and how somehow, whether it be Kim or I or somebody else who works as part of coordinating those positions. And then again, that's spread over multiple schools. And so that's looking at, across 3 high schools, how will they position those support people?
And, okay, good.
Right. So we're looking at making an in-kind contribution as opposed to a cash contribution.
It's kind of like when you go to Booster, they want to see that
Right.
you're.
Exactly.
All right.
How are you going to contribute?
Same, yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Sounds phenomenal.
So we'll be optimistic that we're going to actually do it.
Okay.
Okay, good evening, my name is Doreen McCush, and in this document, part of the materials that was attached to the announcement of this meeting, in this document dump, I found on February 5th, 2015, that Dr. McGee signed a partnership agreement to participate in the LA County Future Educators Consortium slated for July 1st of 2015 through June 30th, 2019. And the role is to commit to fully implement the Career Pathway program. And Kelly is participating as a local education agency in LEA under a memorandum of understanding. And it's to commit to carry out DaVinci K to career pathways. This is where I have little issues. This raises serious concerns because it appears that the DaVinci relationship was being developed by founder and CEO Matt Linder sat on our board of directors. And it raises conflict of interest concerns. And I don't understand why we're talking about bell schedules and we're engaged in dialogue about this when the disclosure, no one was ever alerted to the fact that when you read the DaVinci mission, everything that Dr. McGee
he was talking about at these meetings were basically, it's like reading the DaVinci mission. It parallels it to the T, everything about advisories and college and everything else. And I don't understand, I guess, why there's a lack of transparency if, in fact, this is a phenomenal program being presented to us as a school. Why it wasn't just put out there for us to understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any points of clarification?
Can I help?
Absolutely. And it's also on the agenda later tonight as well.
So just as a point of clarification, and then Ms. Thayer can speak for this as well, we did not know about this grant until, I think actually Mr. Wonder came over and spoke to us during winter break. Mary Bush was present at that same meeting, and so we revealed it as soon as we knew about it and the opportunity became available, and put it in the board materials as soon, I mean, there was just a quick turnaround to actually be part of this particular grant. So I understand what you're saying about the alignment. They're all things that we think are great ideas for an educational program, but we presented it as soon as we knew about it.
Have you discussed those career partnering in your EDP reports to the board?
I have with other ones. DaVinci was one that just appeared. We have other things that we're working with Santa Monica College, and I've written about those, but the DaVinci one just came up, and they invited us to be part of it as they were really, hustling to put their grant together. So, but we said, Mary's been very much involved with West LA College. Kimberly Thayer's been very much involved with SMC, and of course, there we're currently offering that's already underway. So.
And this contract with DaVinci, is there money exchanging?
I mean, there's grant monies and funding, yes, but resources.
Resources. Right, okay. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay.
I'm just gonna hold mine until we get to that part of the
Okay,
course.
so for further clarification as well, it is on the agenda, this matter is on the agenda, subsection G, California Career Pathway Trust Grant Partnerships, Dr. McGee.